At the same time, there are people out there blowing the candles and bringing darkness to the world. And in one of the very few times when you will see me publicly disagreeing with Ibu Patel. Ibu Patel published an article in the Huffington Post this week that became very, like, a lot of my friends were recommending it on Facebook, and he was talking about the importance of interfaith relationships following the events in Boston. And I do think that it is really important. It is really important because immediately after the attacks, immediately after finding out about the two brothers, Muslims all over the country are being attacked. People who don't have any relationship with what happened in Boston whatsoever, who has a really pastoral theology. But I do think that at this point, even more important than interfaith dialogue, what we need is to have a dialogue inside each one of our communities. Because quite often when we engage in interfaith dialogue, when Anne and Keith and I meet to talk, we agree so much that we are not really transforming. And let me tell you, it's way more difficult to talk within the Jewish community with people with whom I disagree than it is to talk to my Christian and Muslim friends that have so much in common with me. So I do think that we need to bring light to the world. And bringing light to the world involves a lot of times. We all have radicals in each one of our denominations, in each one of our faith traditions. And I do think that it is critical at this point for us to talk to the radicals in our midst and to challenge them and to stop them from blowing the candles and to hold hands and together to light more candles, to light not only this room but the whole world. So that's what I had to say. Thank you so much for having me.
If you have a question, as Paul has done, raise your hand and I'll bring you the microphone.
Yeah, I don't like being first typically, but I like to keep the thing moving fast. So I sort of formulated a question before I came in, but I do have to tell you it was quite moving to hear how you confronted your own liturgy. My liturgy was in Latin when I was growing up, and I became a pantheist at 12, though I still served in the Catholic Church. So. And I haven't found anything better than that actually now, except for informed by Taoism perhaps. But that's just the personal aside. I was going to ask you about interfaith actions in the climate that's going on now with some liberal Protestant groups and others acting in the BDS movement, boycott, divest, and sanction. And I was also thinking about the very courageous Brant Rosen, who I don't know if you've met him, Evanston Synagogue of Peace. He has a blog called Shalom Rav. And the other groups inside, you were talking about confronting inside the Jewish community, Jewish Voices for Peace and Open Hillel, which is a new group, and others, J Street, for instance. But I can't, when you talk about social justice and religion, I'm an outsider, as I just pointed out, but something I think ought to be said about this dimension. And we are American citizens, and many are here, and we contribute a lot of resources, a lot of weaponry all over the world, including the Middle East. And I just wanted you to say some things about that.
Sure.
I appreciate your attention.
Thank you for the question. It's a great question. Look, the situation between Israelis and Palestinians is a complex one. And I think on both sides of the narrative about that conflict, there's a lot of oversimplification of these are the good people and that is the bad people, or conversely, these are the bad people and that is the good people. And I reject that. I think that we have a situation in which a lot of the time both sides are right, and at the same time, most of the time both sides are wrong. And At Hillel, what we try to do is to elevate the conversation so that the conversation can be more sophisticated and recognize that there are multiple narratives and that we need to engage in those multiple narratives without stigmatizing this side or that side. Unfortunately, I feel that, look, I think that the Palestinians have great arguments. A lot of the time when I see, at least in this town, when I see them articulated, they're not articulated in a sophisticated manner. It is all about how terrible Israel is, how terrible all the things that Israel does. It seems as if there have never been terror attacks in Israel, as if Entebbe never happened, as Munich never happened. As if the Palestinians had accepted the partition plan in 1947, as if the Palestinians hadn't attacked Israel since 1948. Again, I don't want to take sides here. I do think that this is a very complex situation, and by reducing it to black and white, these are the good people and these are the bad people, we're doing a disservice to everyone. And we're not helping the Palestinian cause. And we're not helping the Israeli cause of wanting to have peace. Again, I said that in each one of our faith communities, we have radicals. In each one of these national movements, we have people who, with the best of intentions, who want to reach an agreement in which peace is possible for both people, and you have people who were just not interested in peace, for whom it is a game of 100% or nothing. So again, my big question is, how do we strengthen the people who are looking for a sophisticated conversation on both sides of this issue, and not not become allies with the people who are looking for oversimplifications?
I'd like to say thanks, first of all, for this talk. It comes on the heels of an event that I attended last night, and I do see one person here that was in the same forum that I was in last night. So I do thank you for your conversation, and I see how Pastor Thomas describes you with the 3 H's, and fortunately I saw all 3 of them, although there's nothing funny about what you're talking about as far as interfaith connection, but sometimes you have to use humor or sarcasm just to get through. But I appreciate also the fact that you didn't say just the leaders of the institutions or churches or however you want to, or the religions, get together. You need to find out what's within your congregations or whatever as well. That's very important, because sometimes, and I thank God for those leaders that are busy doing things and helping in the community, but you can't do it all. And if you have a core group of people that can help carry the message out, bring it back to the other members that aren't able to do. So again, I do thank you. This was very enlightening. As I said, it came on the heels of something that I attended last night. So I have fuel for the fire, and I will certainly be contacting you if that's okay.
Sure.
Just for some questions.
Sure.
And things. So thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, excuse me. This is sort of semi-theological, but it seems to me one of the things that shocked me when I came here to go to school, having grown up on a farm, was the extent to which people sort of railed at the stars for things that couldn't be controlled. You know, I think about when I was a kid and things were going well. In the middle of June, we get a nice big rain on the neighbor's farm, and you can see where the rain stopped right on the border to go to our farm. You know, and we're the ones that go to church, and they're the people that don't go to church and swear all the time. So one of the advantages of growing up out in the country is you learn sort of to accept reality. And I wonder when we, you know, like change the liturgy, if that's quite the proper word, whether we shouldn't find a different path, because you know, the Scripture has its own resonance, and that what we really need to do is accept the fact that the world as it's created has limits, and it doesn't always fit what we want it to be. In mathematics, there's now it's been proven that you can't know everything. You know, you have these 3 things that math is supposed to be, and you pick any 2. When you go and measure the universe, you get down to Heisenberg's uncertainty, and it all sort of disappears into mush. And so you can't really know it all, ultimately. And maybe we're going about the wrong way of handling the ambiguities that are sort of just built into the system.
So I'm not sure I fully understand your question, but it